Hello and welcome to episode 8 of our podcast. This is the fourth episode of season 2 where we talk about the socialization equation. And I'm with Tommaso Di Bartolo, the founder and CEO of Phygital, the startup laying the building blocks of spatial experience. How is it going, Tommaso? Excited?
Phenomenal as always, Romo. How have you been? What are we talking about
Oh,
today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great, great, great. Love your cap, by
Awesome.
the way. That's a new addition.
Thank you. Yeah. Anthony Robbins, for those who are following him since 1996, reading and listening to it, you guys should do. But yeah, let's switch to spatial
Oh yeah, love
experiences.
that man. Love that
Yeah.
energy. Let's bring
Yeah.
that let's bring it to our conversation today. Amazing. So I
Absolutely.
want to discuss AI today. I want to discuss AI. We have been seeing new models drop from left, right, and center, and the latest being NVIDIA's Cosmos. And I saw you published an article about NVIDIA's Cosmos yesterday. It's
Yes,
basically
indeed.
like Unreal Engine, but with a lot more AI powered features and use cases that goes beyond gaming. So how does it affect Digital and 3D?
I love your questions, Romeo. I think that is not just spot on, but truly having and leading us and the audience. I think also from a future back perspective, meaning from the future coming back into the present. So, what is that it's going on right now? Over the last month, right, we have seen an explosion of AI companies in general, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, we all by now have. A professor assistant that is called ChatGPT, right? But if you
Yeah.
start understanding what those tools are doing, is they're basically working in scraping what's on the market in the internet, right? And then they take the information and they make sense of the information in a faster, in a better way, so that it supports specific use cases, right? In very simple words, right? And that is better than a human being and the brain can do because it's faster, it's smarter, and it has more knowledge and understands, therefore, the contextuality of the prompts that were asked. Now, if you double click on that, we start seeing that in order for you to define those prompts, to get basically something juicy out of it, you have usually 1D or 2D inputs. What does it mean? You either write and say, hey, dear chat, Claude, and whatnot, right? Or
Hmm.
you basically submit a picture, right? That's the multimodal version, right? And they respond with 1D or 2D outputs, meaning you get either a text back and say, Romeo, thank you for the question, and that is what you do. Or you maybe have asked about the picture and you get the picture. Or nowadays with the source of this world, you get a really cool video, right? That's where
Yeah.
things stand right now. Now, what is happening? It's happening that on one hand, we're seeing an inflection points where we are reaching data says roughly 85, 90%, 80%, but that's what they're saying right now, beginning end of 2024, beginning of 2025, 80% of data scraped in the internet. So over the next 24 months, those chat GPTs of the world, those large language models, right? They basically have achieved the limits of what you can scrape and therefore the knowledge that you can achieve. And now what, right? And the second thing that is
Yeah.
also happening is that countries and governments are regulating. See what's happening in Europe, right? See also what's starting regulations here in the United States and other countries, that have regulations of AI. So meaning they are basically really shrinking down and filtering, right? What can be the output. Now that screams for what? That screams that we're looking for now the different and other input streams, right? That can
Hmm.
define the next version of what those large language models can produce in terms of value. So introducing here this next generation of large visual models where your site, what you see, right? Images, videos that you produce become the input, become basically instead of you prompting, right? And that serves as the fundament, as the mechanic, right? As the token, in order for those large visual model to interpret what they see and create as an output, not just an answer or a video, but actually create on top of with the basis of this information, a 3D model that mirrors, understands the reasons of what they saw. Example, okay? What does it mean? Okay, so you have basically the 3D physical world. So the physical world is a 3D, right? You have so-called point clouds that you're looking at. So right now, if you look here and say, oh yeah, this is, you have length, depth, right? It interprets all that. And when it interprets all that, it starts understanding positioning and interactions of objects, events, people to people, entities within that. And it is able of building entire scenes around you, and that
Yeah.
is where it's going, right? So it's basically, and why is this so fundamentally important? Well, as I described yesterday in my article, because now all of a sudden it's not just a computer said something, but we are introducing now, Romeo, because of technical capabilities, high contextuality to the production of what we are doing. So what
Yep.
do you mean with contextuality? Well, because now the scene that you are building, the experience that you are building, the even the description of the environment that you use that as an input becomes now part of your life. And because it becomes part of your life, it starts mattering to you. It starts being important for you. And because it starts being important for you, you feel more connected. If you feel more connected, you start engaging more. And that is basically where it's going. So it's really allowing to enter the next wave, which is 3D and 4D of large visual models, large language model, in order to interpret the surroundings, create contextual environments, right? And now we no longer in the future are going to have static environments around us, right? Or use cases that are just produced by GenAI, and we feel disconnected from it. But now the use cases that we are going to see are highly connected to our real world. And therefore, we will have
Yeah.
more engagement, we'll feel more connected with it, right? And that's the direction in which it's going. And that's what Phygital has been since the beginning as a company. But back to you. Excellent question.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, and one problem that we have always had with these so-called virtual environments, where like it always felt like you were in a Disney movie. Everything is so animated, nothing really looks real. But with this, with things like NVIDIA's Cosmos, or even maybe Unreal Engine coming into the AI scene, everything will look extremely photorealistic, and it won't matter like if you are in the actual Times Square or in the virtual Times Square. Everything will look just the same, and that brings in the element of the realness.
It goes beyond that, right? Because I think that it's fair to say that actually, Romeo, the current large language models, they have the capability of, if you prompt it correctly, to say, show me hyper realistic environments, right? But you, as the one who prompted it, that environment might not be, is not might not be, is not the environment that you have seen. Why? Because you just prompted it through text. So
Yeah.
meaning, even though it's picturing Madison Square Garden or Palo Alto University Ave or San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge, right? It's not the one that you inputted it with your pictures and with your videos. So you feel still disconnected. We have this issue right now that, wow, it's all amazing. We are all creating beautiful art and we have this amazing videos that we are creating. But so what? Humanity starts only valuing things if you do have an effort as behind everything that you do. So what does it mean that we are now all great artists and have beautiful pictures and amazing videos? Right? How do I feel connected with that? Right? And that's, I think, that is fundamentally game changing. We use actually, Romeo, your life, our life, right? Because you will walk soon around with the smart glasses, and this will be the input, right? And that input
Yeah.
feeds then into real time into those 3D large language models. And it's not saying prompt me something. It's saying, okay, Tommaso is walking down Palo Alto University Ave right now, and on the right side you see the Venetia, right, bar, the Venetia coffee shop where I drink my espressos, always there, right? And now it becomes part as an output of something that you are creating. And now it's where Phygital comes into mind, right? Phygital is building experiences with the Viri application as a world, right? So Viri is building this physical digital extension on top of the real world for students on campus. So right now, students on campus can use images and soon videos to input those, meaning you take pictures of environments and objects. And then those environments and objects, they become part of a gamified experience, and it considers the length, the breadth, and the objects, right, within those environments equally to what you saw. So let me give you one example, right? That is the fundamental question that we are solving. When is humanity, next gen, going to accept digital on top of the real world? That's a profound question. When is next gen accepting, not just watching, right? Because that's the fact of that's more an over imposing, things like Snapchat and so on. These are more over imposed augmented reality objects or seeds.
Yeah.
But that's not when humanity with your multisensorial, with your skin, with your sight, with your smell, right? That's not when you accept digital input. You start accepting it when you are seamlessly integrated, and the objective here is seamless, meaning it becomes one. In order to digital become one, you need to understand exactly what from a technical perspective what you're looking at, and there you need to see, there is a tree, okay, and it's autumn, okay, so the leaves are kind of brownish, okay, and there is wind, and maybe something is falling, okay, and if I take now something and create something digitally and attach it to the tree, it needs to understand the movement, it needs to understand. So that's the only moment, right, when humanity starts embracing this physical digital interconnection, right?
Yeah.
And that's the direction where we are going with Phygital, with our underlying foundational model that we are building and our core IP, right? To finalize, Romeo, when you listen to music and you hear the singer singing a tune, and it becomes out of tune, and you say, oh, that's out of tune. And think of that now with those foundational model and the physical digital merge. If we right now are looking at augmented reality stuff, which is not spatial. Augmented reality are mere standalone objects. Spatial experiences are more scenes, like movie scenes that make sense all together with the physical and the digital world. And if you see something that is out of tune, out of sight, doesn't make sense, like it's not merged into one with the physical world, you kind of have this feeling
sort of like the uncanny valley problem.
That is not right, exactly.
Yeah. So as we have already started discussing about the augmented reality, that is obviously a core part of Fury, and I have already seen the app, and at its current level, it's already impressive. So where do you think AR will be by the end of this year with all of the developments that we are seeing in AI?
I think that zooming out again, what is AR, what is spatial, right? I think that augmented reality is truly a visual appearance on top of the real world that is overimposed, right? That does not understand the actual world, right? Or appears without any interconnection, right? And now it's moving more into spatial experience. So AR is let's say the origin, the OG, right, of what now becomes spatial experience. Spatial experiences are when you read the room, you understand the three dimensionalities of a room, and maybe also time, so space and time. That's when it becomes 4D, right? And in that 3D environment, the physical 3D environment, you build scenes, and within those scenes, at least this is what we do at you foster community. So at the right time, at the right place, community building, and that's where we see actually AR going. AR again, as the OG is moving into spatial experiences. Spatial experiences become environment, become entire scenes of motions, scenes of financial benefits and opportunities, scenes that are co-created by the ones who access those scenes who have multimedia in there. So it's not just visual, but you have audio, right? And ultimately are really, opportunities that you encounter at the right time, at the right place, according to your affinity. And that's where I'm seeing actually here the evolution, AR going towards spatial experiences, right?
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Um, Yeah, so pretty much that covers the AR side of things. I just want to go back to the visual AI models. Like in the beginning we discussed the NVIDIA Cosmos model. The Google VO2 model also came out like a couple of weeks ago. That was also mind blowing. And obviously OpenAI Sora is another one that's really impressive. So all in all, it seems like this year is going to be a one fascinating year to build things in the AI AR space, and Fury is absolutely positioned in the right place for that. As always, thanks for your time, Tommaso. And for our audience, if you are watching on YouTube, you will see a QR code on at the top of the screen. Scan it and join our closed beta. If you are on audio, simply go to fury.world and you can join us from there. And just one housekeeping notes: we will be absent next week, but we will come back. We'll come back after that. And as always, see you on the free world.